Call to order Myrtle Creek City Council regular council meeting for December 2nd, 2025. Roll call, please.
Mayor Luke Dillon.
Here.
Councilor Robert Cheney.
Here.
Councilor Rick Helm.
Here.
Councilor Kathy Rad.
Here.
Councilor Diana Larson.
Here.
Councilor Jamie McElmurray.
Here.
Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, public presentations, Chrissy. Citizens heard on agenda items. Consent agenda. Approval of minutes for regular city council meeting for this November 18th, 2025.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting for November 18th, 2025. I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Regular agenda, this is the transfer of FAA funds.
So I was contacted last week. There's a group there wanting to redo the Ashland Airport. And they were wondering if we would donate our funds to their cause. Fix their work.
I make a motion to transfer the 2023-2026 FAA entitlement funds to Ashland Airport. I'll second it.
Discussion. I feel like this came up once before some time ago.
Every year.
Yeah, we decided that we aren't going to
We do.
accept the money because then we have to do what they want us to do. So we still have to do something with the money.
We're doing it earlier this year. Is there any reason why? Is this the only ones we're gonna get for the year? Cause I know me and Kathy were involved in the last one and we weren't here in December last year.
So we have, I think there's $600,000 in there, and they basically every year $150,000 falls off, and then they give us another $150,000 to be, I think it's the beginning of the year.
So we're donating 150,000.
No, or they're asking for the whole 600,000, and they're gonna match our 600, the funds that we have in our account to make their airport. And it sounds like they're gonna do a complete repave and patch and bring it all up to par.
The ones that you're thinking of were we divided the 2022, which were expiring between the three different airports with small chunks.
Right, there's three. So that's something different than this.
Yeah, that was the 2022, which were expiring,
Okay,
and now they are wanting everything plus the additional.
23 and 26.
So the idea is like we need to do something with that 23 money before, or else this goes away.
Mhm.
So Ashland is hoping that we would give it to them. Because as long as we don't do anything with it, we're allowed in that contract or whatever with the FAA expiring. When does that expire again?
I just looked that up, it was 28.
Yeah, 2028.
Right. So we're just on hold until. Because right, if I'm not mistaken, if we were to use any of that at any point, we just automatically extend it 20 years or something.
Yes. The 20-year.
They regulate what we do out there.
Obligation.
Was that?
They regulate what we do out there.
Sure, yeah. Any other discussion? I mean, seems like everybody's okay with that. All in favor, aye. Opposed, nay. All right, Ashland gets the money.
Surprised they're the only ones that approached us.
It's the only one that I've heard from.
Well, this sounds like it came from the FAA, right?
No, they contacted me direct, it was their
Oh, actually, they-
engineer and,
Well, again, those funds have to be matched by the airport that's, taking them in, so
yeah.
they're the only ones that have any money to match.
All right, next, integrator of record.
So the integrator of records is basically, it's gonna be our SCADA programmer for the water plant and wastewater plant. We've been using them for like 20 years, but in order to get these grants, they want us to have an official contract and have these people on retainer. And basically, that's what we're doing here, we're just getting approval from you guys to get an official contract with them and have them make them our integrator of records.
And to also clarify, as you mentioned this the other day, I think that makes sense to me, is kind of like how we have Dyer as the engineer of record, we just have to have a interior or a integrator of record.
And I think it'd be the same way as Dyer's every time we want them to do something, talk to them, they're gonna charge us.
Yeah, well, it'll be on a case by case thing, but basically, instead of like this big, we're doing our backwash project. We'll just call them up and they come and do it, instead of having to go out to bid and find somebody and. Cause they've been doing it for the last 20 years and they're pretty much the only ones who've been doing any of our programming on our plants.
I make a motion to allow staff to select an integrator of record for the qualifications application received that best matches the city's needs. I'll second that too.
All right, just got more discussion. I mean, it sounds like nothing's really changing, we're just making it kind of official.
Yeah, I'm just getting an official contract with them.
Like our relationship with them is nothing changing, the last extra thing we're doing with them specifically. Just, and they're aware of this too, that we're making them.
Well, we're waiting on, so we're
Don't
going.
say anything.
They are not aware. We have an RFQ out and they have to basically apply for it and then we have to select them.
Okay.
So we're just going through a process that we need to go through in order to qualify, like,
To get to the end result.
yeah,
Gotcha.
We haven't selected
We
it.
haven't selected anybody yet.
even though they've been doing it for,
A while.
Gotcha. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. I believe these, streetlights.
So on the streetlights, I know you guys were wanting streetlights and I wanted to ask you guys if you guys had any particular spots you wanted to put them.
Johnson Street has been asking, and it looks pretty dark in some places.
Johnson Street's an awful long street. Can you elaborate as to where at Johnson Street?
Let's see, past the bridge,
Okay, so down there between like Chestnut and the bridge?
yeah,
Okay, cause I asked our police officer, he was on night shift the other night, and he went through and I think he came up with down there between the bridge.
Right.
And Chestnut, there was a spot, he said it was pretty dark.
yes,
And then he had a couple more like North Myrtle and Lillian and Division and Cherry, there's a. quite a-
That's just what I asked, is anything was Lillian at all?
He had, well, there was one, yeah, Lillian and North Myrtle, which would be the bottom.
Yeah.
But, basically I was told by Leslie that we can put up 5 now. So I'll get that started and then from our Facebook post, we got a couple people wanted them on Johnson, one guy wanted it on Division. And then there was a lady on Broadway, on the east side of Broadway that was asking for one down off of.
We're on
They didn't go, nobody went into great detail.
I don't think we have any around our house, they're doing down by the mini mailboxes, and I think it only comes on once in a while.
Yeah.
Now, that list, somebody went around, because I know Jonathan had said that Monty asked him to do this 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and he did it, he had a list, is that the list you're going off of, or
This is.
they did a Facebook sampling, and so you didn't get that many responses.
Like 8 or 9 people They mostly turned into kind of almost a pitch session. They wanted to complain about the streets.
Okay.
Different things. It's like,
No,
well, we're asking-
focus on the streetlights, that's what we're doing.
And it was even to the paper.
Did that list with
Still,
John.
how much was it? Yes.
But I think
Well,
it
it'd
was
be
Jonathan,
easier
I
for
think,
five
who
people to
added lights after that list, and so it was,
But we had now. the
basically,
police
yeah,
there,
compile a
I
new
think
list.
that'd be important.
Well, what
Did you get that? When Jonathan had that list, Lonnie had put lights in after that list, so that's what we're doing,
New list.
a new list.
he did put lights in after that. And we about that, the old list, the ones that weren't put in, are they in the same general area?
I don't think we have that list.
John,
John,
John said he didn't have it.
No, that's how you deleted it.
Yeah,
He has it.
We found it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I have a copy of it.
it'd be nice to look at that, but if it's that South Johnson or Lower Johnson that somebody's been talking to you about, if that's one that's mentioned, that definitely will go ahead and put one there, and then try to figure out the top five as far as.
And they're $1,750 a piece installed. And then there'll be about $7, a little over $7 a month.
That's with the LEDs and everything.
Yeah.
So how are we gonna determine those five?
Well, I was just gonna go with the most requested areas first and then, unless you guys have something extra.
Yeah, I think the people that are concerned that have been complaining, and it seems like it's concurred by the officers that that's one of them is Johnson, so any of the others that came up.
Yep, I was gonna go drive around and look and see what's there and what's not there, and then I gotta have pole numbers, and then they recommended that there be primary power on the pole, not secondary power, I think. So they can hook into that.
So is there gonna be a cost of that if do all poles have primary?
Well, some of, until you start getting them off into like driveways and stuff where they're running just power for the house. That's when, then they'll have to pull special power in there to it, what I understand. But I think the $1,750 was installed and wired on an existing pole. So then I'm sure it goes up dramatically if we gotta add poles or do anything like that.
Yeah, a lot of them they turned off was the only thing. So,
I think they ripped them all the way out.
Yeah, they took them all the way out.
did they?
Yeah,
That's probably about 10 years ago. More than
longer than that.
I was living on my.
Yeah, that's almost 15 years, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure you would probably use the video time for the right time.
I think so.
So is that just what we could do to the rest of budget season and then we'll have to think
Well, then we're redoing the streets, obviously redoing the streets budget, but we're gonna budget for more next year. So
Okay.
5 this year, and then, you know, we'll
Okay.
obviously work towards more.
okay. All right,
Do we need a motion or anything, or just?
I guess I just wanted to ask you guys and get more clarity on if you guys had any suggestions.
Yeah, there's a motion here.
yeah, there's a motion.
I move to have staff proceed with placement of 5 new streetlights in locations that have been identified.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Sorry.
What's that?
We beat it
I
up.
know, I know. All right, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
I was just looking at this, it doesn't say anything about 5, but I guess the motion's for 5.
Yes, it's fine.
What
We're,
is it? I'm looking, council can choose to have staff move forward with the placement of new street lights.
At the bottom line is this one.
this is what. Oh.
Oh, okay, yeah. With 5.
All right, moving on. Park Commission.
So I guess I was asked, what? Do we need a park commission? I guess it's how it was presented to me.
Really?
Is that what the staff would like to review the function of the Park Commission statement? Cause I had that in the line. I remember.
Yeah, I don't know, do we need them? I mean,
What have they, can you give me what have they been doing? I mean, they've been meeting every other month,
and on the pickleball.
and then we won't on the meetings.
That seems to be their, biggest thing, is
Yeah.
pickleball and pickleball.
Kind of morphed into the pickleball association.
Pretty much.
I know, you were already talking about it when I started asking questions, and what I come up with. This year, there's 6 people on the board. There's only been 2 meetings that, in all reality, there's been a quorum,
Yeah,
so nobody's even showed up.
yeah. And one of the members of the park commission shall be one of you guys that attends all of the meetings.
She hasn't shown up.
Yeah, I've been to, several, but, not one,
Once it's
or maybe more than that.
No, this year. January 14th.
Let me check my notes, because maybe they didn't mark me as
Maybe
being there,
they
but I
didn't mark
know
you
that
down.
I've been there during the summer, and
Yeah.
I've heard plenty about pickleball courts.
Yeah. The school should be full on that, and 4 people weren't showing up, so I don't know. Either
I mean, if they're not.
people that wanna show up, but they're just an advisory board anyways, we make all the final decisions.
Yeah.
Do we need to, throw the applications out there to get people on the park commission?
I think we're just, I think we're
To
just,
show
I
up?
don't think there's a point in having this, is the question, answer, do we even need it?
I feel like they were developed whenever the parks were getting made or developed and brought to light. Is it something that we need to continue to have?
Because if we don't have them, then that's more that we have to micromanage.
So they're not doing anything anyway, so from my understanding, right? They're not even having a quorum, so they can't even do anything.
From,
Well, we're
From the
supposed to have one next week and bring the garden to them before it comes to the council. So I have it, and I was planning on being here, and so's Shane. And now you guys are
And what-
talking
and
about
what would-
dissolving the board.
What would they do? In that meeting about the garden?
I don't know, but Shane came here, and that's what was decided for him to go to the park commission, just like the baseball guy had to go to the park commission before he came back with their approval. So it sounds
so
to
what
me
we're saying
like,
is, they're not showing up for the park commission, so if we disbanded the park commission, like some people were talking about, then things would come straight to us.
right,
There's only been 3 issues, I think, this year, both have been the garden, and now you want a vegetable garden and a baseball. That's the only thing that's gone through the board division here.
well, the
But what's the-
pickleball, they've been actively,
Well, yeah, but now
Yeah.
I'm questioning, what's the point of them going to the Parks Commission, like, they're just gonna say, yes, and it comes back to us.
I understand
Yeah.
that.
It's a yes or no. and it comes to
Yeah,
us.
so this is going back to us anyway, so why we'll lose some time.
Planning grant coming for the park, and is that something that the Parks Commission would be actively working on?
If you read the charter, then yes. But I think we had the one lady pass away a couple months ago.
The park
Since
commission
I've
lady?
been here,
really,
our park commission hasn't, it's new members now than when I first started sitting in on park commission, and we've not ever followed the requirements of the park commission as far as they're supposed to be fundraising, planning park activity. That's not what our park commission does.
that's what I was reading, it looks like.
And
it's
then
a
maybe
full-time job.
it's time to get rid of the current park commissioners. I mean,
Maybe,
Good night, just asked, recently there's been a problem with, the doors not locking correctly and the fountains not running correctly. Is that the job of the commission, or is it just mainly events and stuff?
I guess which doors aren't locking correctly?
What's that?
Which doors are not locking correctly?
Oh, no, you fixed them.
Oh,
Remember a couple of, months ago, someone was complaining and then you took care of it?
sure.
And I don't know if that was the you know, something that you just happened to be informed about, or whether the park commission had any responsibility in letting you know about stuff like that.
I have, no, I mean, I think that's part of their responsibility is to let us know about issues in the park, but
Or like flipping the Vega minor off the trees that are next to the creek so that they don't die.
yeah.
Just that kind of stuff. So I guess everybody could just bring their complaints to us. And especially since you're sitting there and wearing two hats.
Mhm. It's,
But what about when you're not sitting there? Then do we need a park commission?
that's up to you guys. I mean, essentially, they're just an advisory board, and then the ultimate decision goes to you guys anyway.
But any major decision goes to them first, and if they can't correct it, or if
They
they,
can't.
They can,
make a
they're the
decision.
chain of command.
yeah,
can't
and
make
so
a
then it
decision.
rolls to us, right?
But in the event we have like a big project,
Same thing
we
with the planning
could call for
commission.
like a
Why do we have any of them?
potentially kind of like we did the code review committee, where if we had some project going where we could pull people together that had a vested interest in it, like if we were doing a park overhaul, you could get somebody that was with the baseball stuff and
More of a
playground
temporary
structure,
type,
more of a temporary.
yeah, we could do that
Instead of, way more ideal.
instead of having this in the code, yeah.
Well, I have two concerns. If they're not showing up, they need to maybe have a review of what their responsibilities are. And then, secondly, maintenance, that's my biggest concern, you know, in the public's, general public, when, the benches are broken, smashed, I've seen that several times, you know, is that part of, you know, so maybe them just reviewing what their responsibilities are, and then,
I don't see how that's gonna be any good though.
well, I mean, otherwise, we're gonna, you know, we'll be hearing all different complaints, and
Yeah.
and we can, I can,
Probably-
you know, each of us can report that to Zach, but, you know, I'm just thinking.
But it doesn't have to come to us, somebody stopped by City Hall and talked to whoever's at the front desk, hey, I noticed there's a crack in the fountain, or I noticed the bathrooms aren't locking, and they just get a hold of who's in charge of the parks.
Yeah, we have parks and buildings maintenance people that do all the maintenance
It
and all
doesn't
the
have to go
fixing
through
and
us.
stuff.
So then, okay, so
And that
so
those
then
things wouldn't go through the.
it definitely wouldn't go through them then.
No.
Okay, so,
So I make a motion to have staff proceed with the review of Myrtle Creek Municipal Code, section 2.10 Park Commission. So we can talk about
You just make a motion,
it. Yeah, I make a
or
motion
a
to
second
have
for
staff,
discussion purposes.
that's the point. Yeah, because we are.
You can have
So
discussions before.
I know you can, I know you
That's
can.
a-
if we're doing Robert's Rule of Order, it's supposed to be motions, and then it dies for lack of a second,
The,
if nobody else wants to talk.
the committee or the commission also has been a springboard for those getting involved in city government.
That's what I was thinking.
I know
and that's what
several
those
people that
boards
have
are
been,
for.
that have joined our commission and went ahead and went on and became city councilors,
Or the code review board.
but being involved with so that is one positive of the commission. It is a springboard to getting involved with the city government. I know that's how I got involved with being a councilor, because I was on the Parks Commission. Well, I was told to get on the Parks Commission if you're gonna bitch, but. So I got on the Parks Commission, then I decided to run for city council.
And I was on the planning and.
Alan Kusler Jr. did the same thing. So there's several,
True. If they show up.
right, and that's why I said,
Not if they show
How
up.
do we recruit people onto the Parks Board? Is there some kind of a ad or
There's been a vacant position open for as long as I know, and nobody's applied for.
where is that posted?
Get right on the
So
website.
I need to do a push for parks and a push for budget committee. And that would just go on our reader board, it goes on our Facebook, and then we can put an advertisement in the paper. Letting people know that we need, active volunteers.
Right, because if people see it, then they might think, oh, well, I'd like to do that. I didn't know they needed somebody, you know?
So
And
outside of what Bob just said, I still don't see the interest of having, I don't see the need for it. Nobody's convinced me of the need for this commission.
It's another layer. It's another layer of,
But like it hasn't, but like, if you just think of this last year with what you had looked at,
I mean, it's,
it hasn't even.
I wrote down.
Has it been a layer?
I'll tell you.
Hasn't even really been a layer.
No,
no, but you can't, I know what you're saying, but you can't take the ones that are sitting there right now as the whole, I mean, for what the park commission does. Obviously, the people that are sitting there are not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Sure, so I guess there's like there's the talk of what they should have been doing and the benefit maybe that could.
Could come from that, yeah.
But is it a benefit that's necessary or that we really
I think it
would
would be
utilize?
beneficial
Or-
if they were doing what they were supposed to do, if they were planning the events, if they were planning fundraising to enhance the parks and make improvements like it was intended, I can see it being beneficial. But if the people on the commission aren't willing to do that, then there's no point of it.
Right, I agree with that.
yeah, I think that's what you brought up when I questioned that.
So
Basically, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
so whose fault or whose responsibility is it to let them know what?
the liaison from this council, who is the
Well-
liaison from this council?
I'll say also,
You showed up once.
in the time
I
I've
know
gone,
I've been there more
Read the
than
minutes.
once.
we haven't gone over the responsibilities. Granted, if you're on the park commission, you should read the code section on what the park commission is supposed to do. But as staff, the entire time I've been here, we've never actually gone over with the commission and said, here's what you're supposed to do,
Yeah,
get busy.
yeah.
So,
And when you think of Myrtle Creek, I mean, you think parks. That's a huge deal. You know, there's so many parks here, you know.
I mean, I feel like there should be a crucial conversation from our liaison to the commission on these are the roles that should be doing. And we would like to see you move forward in doing these things. And if you're not willing to do that, we are going to consider disbanding you. And put it out there as this is what you should be doing. And if they're not willing, then yeah, I don't really see a purpose because the three things that came to us that we sent back to them to review essentially had to come to us to say yes. Anyway, then it was an extra step because they came to us, they told us what they wanted, we sent them to them, they're like, oh yeah, go talk to council, and then had to come back to us, so it's an extra step. Making
Going through the
improvements harder to go through the motions.
Going with the chain of command.
And they're not obviously doing, but that the park commission has been heavily involved up until, I would say, the last, I don't know, 5 to 7 years maybe. But they've been heavily involved in a lot of things like the pool. They were heavily involved in the slide for the pool. The fields down there, they were heavily involved with that. And there's been a lot of involvement on their part and a lot of the legwork that's done on a lot of those projects, like Jamie was talking about, that's been done by the park commission in the past. I can't say that I've seen in the last 5 to 7 years, but
And as far as me being the liaison or whatever, I was also on the planning commission, and my part, from what I understood, was like with the advisory board or what you went over, the review. It wasn't to be a part of it. Until I read this, I didn't know that I was actually a person on that board. And had I known that, I'd have been to every single meeting because that's my job. But if I was just there to oversee,
listen in, kind of.
yeah, and not really have any input, and then it was like I got, kicked out of the planning commission because it was determined that the council wasn't supposed to be on the planning part. So that's my
Go back and
defense.
August 15th, 2023 was spelled out exactly perfect, just like that. And you accepted the appointment knowing that you are
On the commission.
on the commission?
Yes, ma'am.
What day?
August 15th, 2023. You can also listen to it.
Oh, good.
I think I was not on, but yeah. You pull the mic phone.
Not right now.
You want to right now?
And listen to the whole meeting?
No, I'm talking about, you pull up the minutes of the August 15th, 2023 meeting, when Lonnie explained everything to the city council, what the city ordinance says. And that we have to have somebody on the city council on that Parks Commission.
As a Parks Commission person,
Yes.
not just a counselor that,
You're part of the commission, you're part of the board. That's what I'm saying, so that made 6 people, which makes a quorum of 4.
well, it was never that way when I came to the meetings. It was like.
Yeah,
I
we
was-
didn't have you vote or anything.
No,
That was, yeah.
But if that were to happen, then we would have regular, reporting.
uh-huh.
So that makes sense.
So what would the review, the recommendation for the staff to proceed with the review of the code, what would that entail? Just having the conversation with them, are you willing to do this stuff?
Yeah.
I'm confused by the motion also, I guess.
That was just a suggestion that I,
I think that all of the current city commissioners
August 15th.
should be made aware of what their responsibilities and duties are. And if they're not willing to accept and go forward with that, tender their resignation or we remove them. The council has the right to remove them.
I would, what I
So
would
the
do is I would
person,
communicate to them prior to the next meeting, which is when, next week.
Tuesday.
Say that, you know, maybe in just a general sense that it would be important that you show up, anybody who's on the commissions, and then our liaison can inform them of what is being considered,
yeah,
and that way, because if they're not showing up, they're not gonna show up that one if they don't know. It's important that they be there for this.
Yeah.
You
Bring me to the Parks Commission, but it wasn't.
I mean, I don't, like, you don't have to threaten them, like, you'll get fired if you don't show up, but.
You were,
It's like,
you were appointed
get the vote or,
the city council.
like, I would have been the chairman.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Another.
so
What do we
What's that?
decide?
Just I guess inform them, I'm just making a suggestion of that, just inform them, I'm not sure what. I would want to word it, but just inform them, it's important that they show up for the next park commission.
And I'm gonna be there and I'm going to be,
review.
Assertive.
active, yes, yeah.
And then, yeah, you can let them know that the council is considered, what the park considerations are.
Yeah, because when that baseball goes in, there's gonna be a lot of activity around the parks.
Which one?
The baseball, the whole baseball thing that we're planning. What is it?
The Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. Yeah.
Babe Ruth's been there since the 80s. Well,
I was gonna say,
park.
Yeah.
So if this parks
Actually,
commission.
Actually, with our development.
So if this parks commission was working as advertised. Today. With what we have going on, for example, like the vegetable garden and the other things the guys want to put in and the baseball thing.
Yeah.
What would that look like in you guys, in our minds, like, for this parks commission, what would it make sense if they stayed, you know, if they were doing what we would expect them to do? What would that kind of look like, just in my mind, does anybody have an answer to that?
Would they be going out, help them get the grants and help them get everything organized? So when it came to the city council, everything was presented us that we've got grants, we've got this, we want fences, we want this, we want that.
Mhm.
And I think that's what's been lacking.
And like, even like, you know, some of the list of things that need to be done at parks, you know, that we might talk about next meeting. Those kind of things too, I would assume that the Parks Commission would be initiating or helping.
Helping
Take
make
care of.
sense for,
You know, if there's fencing,
Ideas.
if there's fencing that's broken in the parks, they're the ones out there working with you, making sure it's getting fixed, like. Like, if these people are playing pickleball all the time and they're,
They are
they
good
know that
about
it affects.
reporting.
What's that?
They are good about reporting things that need attention because they're avid park walkers. So they do
Sure.
notice those little things that we might not catch and they
But there
report
was,
those.
but anybody complains about it, I mean, everybody
Yeah.
does that, like, Kathy's really good about that, I mean, like, so like, so I mean, like, so that doesn't, you know, that's, anybody does
But
that.
it's
Oh, no,
because
I'm not saying that that's.
we should be the
Well,
whole
we
race
went
fund
beyond
to
that.
do these improvements that are costing extra money, like how much money is in the splash pad fund that hasn't been finished raised, which would be very beneficial to our community, and that's something they could be working on to help raise funds for.
Yeah, I had the lady that we had talked, that
The
people that we
softball
talked to,
field,
she was.
redid the baseball field, to the softball field,
About
we
the-
redone.
If you look at their duties there, look at, 7 through, 10, that's what we're talking about right here, what they're supposed to be out there doing, I mean.
I think make them back to like you said, Bob, is 5, 7 years ago, all the stuff was being done and it was working. Somewhere along the line, it's slacked
Yeah.
off. If we get it back to where it's
Yeah.
supposed to be and it works, that'll make it that the commission's a good thing, but as of right now,
Maybe encourage them to listen to this. Public hearing too.
Maybe give them just sit down and explain through Diane and then have, revisit it later to see, you know, things are changing.
Well, I assume that we would probably maybe add this to the, would be the council meeting in January.
Yeah, so does every park counselor get a copy of this? What they're expected to do?
It's on the city website, and
On the
I.
website.
so as soon as you would get it,
Ordinance,
you accept the
it's a
position.
regular city ordinance.
And what about the planning commission?
Planning commission is quasi judicial.
Yeah, they make decisions.
That has to be in.
We have to keep
And
them.
the counselors are not supposed to be involved.
Right, because that can be appealed to the city council. If there's a decision that is not agreed with, it is appealed to the city council and you can set on both boards.
Right. But I was the person for planning also, both parks and planning and.
Yeah, Lonnie had asked that we have, a representative there as well, just to observe, but then after reading it and thinking about it, he goes, that could be a conflict of interest because they're the appeals board, so he nixed that, yeah.
And I think that's part of the problem is this year on the meetings that even the Parks Commission meetings that a meeting was held. People have been told wrong on what a quorum is over the last 3 years, and 3 of the meetings that they did hold this year really shouldn't have been held because there wasn't a quorum. There's only been 2 meetings this year that there was a quorum at, and I think that's where some of the people are saying that what's the sense of having a Parks Commission? If not, then we need to go back and like Bob says, if we go back 5 years and we follow the city ordinance, it could be a good thing.
Yeah, because we've got a lot of parks.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
I think when it works right, it's a good thing to have when it works right. Because it gives the involvement of more citizens out there and gives a wider spectrum to work with.
exactly.
Could have also kind of been narrowed down to a particular group, like the pickleball group or something, maybe.
You don't want it to be a narrow group, you want it to be a broad spectrum group of people.
Yeah, because the ones that I've been to.
Yeah,
it's
just,
pretty
what
dominant.
I'm referring to is, if we do this, it'll open it up a little bit. I'm just saying that it might be a little bit, getting a little bit, you know, condensed in a particular, you know, like the pickleball people or, you know, who knows?
Read the minutes, there's 2 that have been to all of them, but if there's no quorum or they're the only ones there, so I mean, they're, like you say, they are there for the whole park commission, not just for pickleball, not just for something else, so if the commission would work, if it was done right.
All right, any other discussion on that? So I guess
You got a motion.
all in favor of that motion of the staff is going to. Are we good with the motion still, the way it was presented?
Yeah, that we were gonna look over.
Could you read back the motion, Joanna?
What's that?
I was asking Joanna if she could read back the motion.
Yeah, it was just the one off the staff report.
Okay. Didn't know if there was, I can read
No,
it.
there wasn't a change. It was just to have staff proceed with the review of the code, the section 2.10 Park Commission, which we can do that with the Park Commission.
Perfect. Next week.
If they show up.
All right, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Yes.
All right, city administrator report.
So I was supposed to remind you guys that Thursday is the lunch in Candyville.
Oh, that's right.
It's 11-1.
That's this Thursday, right?
The 11th.
Thank God.
And it's at the church across from City Hall, right? Don't.
I believe, yes.
I put it on my calendar, it's the 11th.
What is it?
You know, I thought, I sort of think the 11th, but then went back and looked at all the minutes and everything, and it's the 4th.
I will not be there.
What are they doing?
The
Yeah, plus we said
small cities, little city.
Are you gonna be at the
Yes.
Stillwater luncheon?
I am gonna be at the Silver Bell luncheon.
That is my phone.
So the new foreman we hired, he's working out very well. He's go-getter. It was up to him. He fixed everything already. Fortunately,
Now, which one's that?
the new foreman,
Okay.
he's doing a great job.
Revenue.
Mhm. And so with Steve's retirement, we had a guy move to the wastewater plant, and so we hired for that training position in-house. And we gave him a 30-day trial. And I got another guy in-house that's interested in the building's maintenance position. We're not hiring anybody, it's just staff moving around. At the end of the 30-day trial, can I move that guy over there? So he's a part-time employee working in the parks. Who's interested in being the building's maintenance guy.
So he wants to go from part-time parks to full-time buildings maintenance,
Yeah.
and then we would have to open up for a part-time.
We have already to fill that, backfill that.
So then early in the spring, we would just start advertising for a part-time parks employee again.
And you're good, I know we were kind of talking about before, but for them, you're good at those moves.
I am, yes.
Okay.
As long as everybody stays there past the 30 days, then I'll need to backfill this position. And the buildings maintenance job's a pretty good job. They do a lot of stuff in parks and a lot of stuff on our buildings.
Well, if he doesn't do a good job at the 30 days of wastewater, he just gets brought back to the, and everybody gets gone back.
Yeah. So we're gonna wait, we're gonna give him his 30 days and then I wanna start backfilling the buildings maintenance job. So,
Has he already started that wastewater job?
yes,
Where's he at in the 30-day process?
the 19th.
The 19th is the 30 days.
So being that everybody's already in-house, we don't need, I guess, I'm not hiring anybody, they're already here.
I think you could transfer that without having to, that doesn't have to be brought to us.
I know I failed to put it on the council packet to have a motion or anything, so I mean, if I have to, we can wait till January 6th and do that, but I figured you're already.
You're not hiring anybody, so.
I think that's fine.
Just a person, position,
So I have a problem with
I don't
that.
have a problem with it.
okay. That's all I got.
Good. Alright. Mayor and councilor comments. Start with you, Bob.
Tree lighting ceremony this Saturday night and Second and Main. The mayor usually shows up and makes some comments, so.
That's fine.
Anybody else want to show up? Joanne's gonna, yeah, I don't know who else is gonna help her. Who's gonna help you? Oh, Zach. All right.
That's gonna be there.
Hand out some cookies and coffee and cocoa, so make sure you're down there. The little kids are coming down on Friday, hang their ornaments on the tree, which is always a fun thing. Starting 11:30, I believe.
Yeah.
And the Thanksgiving dinner went very well. We had, I would say, somewhere between 150-ish to 175 maybe. A lot of people this year were sick and a lot of takeout. Right? We don't normally do a lot of takeout, but a lot of people came up asking if they could take out because they were sick and they couldn't cook their own dinner. Take what you don't want, who cares? I just want you to eat. So that went very well. We had a lot of donations this year and actually came out probably ahead of the game this year. We had some early donations that came in, but up at the dinner itself, we got over $400 in donations. So, which was very nice. So it's not expected. We don't expect anybody to have to put out any money whatsoever. It's there, it's free for them, but it's always nice to be able to put that on and be able to pay for it.
Do you know about how many meals you serve?
About the 150, 175. I know I cooked 11 turkeys,
Wow, that's awesome.
50 pounds of ham. It was all good, very good. And a lot of volunteers, Ray Munoz, who was one of the cooks that did it for years and years. And he died, only about 4 years ago. And his family comes every year in support of what he loved to do on Thanksgiving and does the serving for us. So it makes it a nice thing for them and it helps us out a lot too.
How's the power?
No problems. No problems whatsoever. Went off. We changed up this year a little bit too. We went from all those big roasters down to some crock pots and some stuff. Not as much power usage, so worked out fine. That's all I have.
The only thing I have is, it's not held in Myrtle Creek, but Friday from 9 to 2 is the community day for Festival of Trees. That raises money to benefit the Healthy Kids Outreach Program, which provides nurses and dental screenings to all of our elementary students and middle school.
Well, just since we have talked about the parks a lot, I have been noticing that there's been a lot of improvements. It's the little things that are really important to me that I see that you can see that things are being taken care of, which is really nice. I love the decorations. They're great. Yeah, but other than that, not too much.
Then,
The parks people, do they have to be in the city limits?
One doesn't.
Just one at
One's at
large.
large, right?
That's for
Yeah.
counselors, it's the same for being on the Parks Commission.
One's counselor and one's at large, so that takes 5. Within the city, right?
But
It'd be 6 because you have to be in the city to be on council.
City limits.
Yeah.
And one at large,
One at
so
large.
one could come from Tri-City or.
We have one that's in Tri-City.
So the at large is already taken,
Yeah.
okay. That's all.
I noticed when I was down there off of Fourth coming into the RV park, you notice any cracks or you use that, was that from the flood originally, or is that just
I think,
slowly doing?
I think something's going on down there. He said, I know I got sidewalks pushing up down here at Portwood and across the street from Portwood. Just over the last couple months, they went from just like an inch rise to where the whole slab is above the curb now. And I got curbs that are broke up, or sidewalks that are broke up here at the entrance of town that weren't broke before. And I know there's one below the saw shop that's broke. I don't know.
The ground's moving around.
There's a lot of activity and a lot of seismic activity going on all up and down
Yeah.
West Coast.
It's over getting really big there at the RV park, and it's
Notice,
like, wow.
like down at the plant, we're starting to get big cracks in the asphalt down there. And I know Third Street looks like it's getting quite a few larger cracks also.
Keep an eye on them.
That's crazy. I was going to mention the tree light, about to say that. Cork and keg was fun. Used to go. Yeah, we haven't had counts since then, right? It was fun. Enjoyed walking around that and saw that. Good. And, yeah, I think you guys are having a debrief on that. We heard, are you guys, people, I think they're talking about having a debrief on that. I'd be curious to see what they have to say, how it went.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah.
Friday morning.
Main Street 9.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah, it'd be interesting to hear how that went. Yeah, that's all I have. All right.
Yeah, 9:30 at Jason Mann's.
That's right. All right, we're adjourned.